Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and this is our sixth video on ABP.io. So today what we are going to discuss is we are going to discuss the audit implementation using the ABP.io. So far we have covered ABP.io from scratch using the CLI, and then we created the entity framework, and then we created all the CRUD operation using the ABP.io. So those portions we have already covered, and you can go through my previous 5 videos and to see how to implement the ABP.io from start till that point. So before moving on, let me explain something about the audit implementation. So audit implementation is used when we needed sort of auditing on our model, that what was the previous change and what change is we have done on the particular things, and those changes, if you wanted to track them, we can use the auditing. So in order to implement the auditing in ABP.io, what we have to do is we have to go to our module HTTP API host module, and I will show you on the Visual Studio as well. So there you will see one of the middleware, I would say, that is a app.use auditing. I will show you on the Visual Studio as well. That is the first thing, and the second thing what we have to do is we have to go to the entity framework as well. Let move to the project. I will show you what we can do is, so first I will move to the HTTP API host project, and in that project all the major configuration is available there. So I will go to the module HTTP module, and the module you will see at the bottom of the page. You can see in the startup class there is a use auditing middleware available. So that middleware we need to enable that. Once that will be enabled, so it will be enabled for our project. But one more thing we have to do in order to make this happen. So what we have to do is, once that option is done, we will move to the entity framework project, and entity framework project we also have the module file available there. So in module file, what we have to do is we just need to open that file. Once that file is open, at the end you will see I have given some options. Those are known as the configuration, and those configuration you can see that the all entities has been provisioned. So what we are doing here is we are allowing all the entities to be audited. So once this option is available, because we have the provision to have the single entity or all entity, but for the sake of this project or this session, I have created the all entities here. So all the entities which are needed, they need to be audited. So with this option, all the entities can be audited. So this level, what we have already done is we have enabled all those entities in entity framework, and in the HTTP host client we have enabled the actual auditing. So these two configuration, once these configuration are done at that level, we are good to go. But definitely we need to have those entities wherever we needed the auditing, they also need to have something added to them. For that, if you go to the models, and I already explained in my first video that we have some classes to be implemented. One of them is the basic aggregate root, and with that aggregate root, what we have to do is we have to provide the primary key. So once that aggregation is enabled, then at that level these all entities, they can be tracked, they can be audited. So far what we have done is we have enabled the auditing in both HTTP and then the entity framework, and then these aggregate root we have enabled, and also I'm showing in the screen for just for the sake of the knowledge that this GID should also be the key, need to be enabled, otherwise it will not work. Then comes the audit implementation. So once those things are available, then we have in database these 4 tables available: ABP audit log, ABP audit log action, ABP entity change, and ABP entity property change. So these four tables are needed one by one. I will let you know in the SQL as well. So these four tables are needed. So once our entities are being audited, these four tables would be populated in the database. So first table, audit, will give the audit. The second table will tell you the action, that which action is being performed, that whether it is an update or whatever action is performed, it will give you the action. Third table, entity change, will tell you what entity, actually the entity, what entity is being changed. For example, we change client, or client we change vendor, which will change whatever entity or model we change, that will give you the entity name. And the last table, which is the entity property change, this will give you the scenario, that what was the first value and what was the second value. So once those things are being changed, it will track one by one, and these four tables are I would say the magic table, which will give you all the insight about your entity, what actual entities are being changed, or what action was performed. So let's move to the project itself, and then what I will do is I will try to run it, and then what we'll do is we will change the some of the entities, and once those entities are being changed, then I will show you in the database that the how those entities looks like. So let's run this project. So till this project run, I will explain you more, because these four tables are automatically being generated once we created the initial I would say the migration was run. At that level, these four tables automatically being created, so I don't need to create the table, but definitely what we have to do is we just need to enable the auditing in our project. So once the audit is enabled, at that level these table would be starting populating. Otherwise what will happen is they will be there, but auditing, once we are not enabling the auditing, the audit will not be tracked, or you will not be able to get all those entities which are being changed in your entities, I would say. So those four tables are very much important table. I will show you after querying them, but first of all, let's see that how our Swagger loads. So once our Swagger would be loaded, so what I will do is I will get some of the entities, I will change them, and while changing the entities, we will go to the database and we'll see that how the database look like. But before moving on till this project load, because in first time definitely takes some time, so let it load. So once those entities will be loaded, then at that level I will show you and will change. So yeah, it's loaded. So let's see. So moving down, we have get method available there. So what I will do is I will execute it. It will give you all the entities which are available. So we will take one of the entity, for example, as we make this entity, we can take from here, and you can see the stamp is there, because for update indefinitely we need to have the stamp available, otherwise it will not be updated. So in the put method, I'm going to put there, and then I will going to change some of the entities, some of the properties I'm going to change. For example, the first name I'm going to change it, and the second name I'm going to change it, and then it will address will change to UK, and let me execute it. So once it will be executed, let me execute it. Okay, so once it will be executed, it will give you 200. So once 200 is available, it means the entity has been changed. So once the entity has been changed, so it means the auditing is enabled over there. So at that level, what we'll do is we will see in the database that how the changes are being reflected. So I already queried the four table, and you can see the order by one descending is already there. So order by one descending, it will give all the records in descending order. So let's execute them so that we can see that how it works. So the very first record is a record which we change, and the first record shows us that this is the log which audit log which is being maintained. So if we scroll to the left, you will see so many fields available in that table, and if we go
one by one it will give you all those details which are related to our action, not the action, but what we did is it will give you, and if there is any exception it will show you, and whatever the success code or failure code that will also give in this first table. So the first table is very much important. Definitely it will have the log ID, and that log ID is being utilized in all the other tables. So the first table will give you the exceptions, the execution, and whatever the execution code will be coming. For example, if it is 200, so it means our action done perfectly. And go to the second table. The second table is also very much important table. So in this table you can see all those parameters are available which we provided, and definitely all the information which are needed to with that log is available, but actually what changed, that is not dot is available there, that will come later. So in the third table it will give you what entity is being changed. It will give you only the entity mean definitely if you change the client, it will give you that the client has been changed. If the vendor is being changed, it will only tell you that the vendor is being changed. So it is related or linked with the last table, the actual table, where the actual, I would say, the entity are being changed, those are associated with them. But definitely these four tables are linked. Till three tables they are linked with the log ID, but the fourth table is linked with the third table, so that's why it is being connected to each other. So once we go to the last table, let me scroll it up. Okay, as you can see, these top three rows tell us what was the ID over there, and linked ID with that is also available. And then the magic thing, what was the actual value and what was the value which we changed, that will tell us in the last three rows. If you can see, this was the first value, this was the last value, and what change we did, all those changes are being tracked in the last table, that is the entity changes table. So this is the magic table, I would say, and it tracks all those values. Though we can do it with the entity framework directly as well, as ABPIO providing the provision that we can use these four tables to track the entities. And if you can see all those four tables, they are giving almost everything which is needed for anything to audit. So let me elaborate them. Four tables are there. One would have the audit log, the second would have all the parameter, the third table would have the entity itself, and the fourth table which actually have what entity are being changed. So this is how the ABPIO, I would say, the beauty of ABPIO, that it is providing that how the tables are being managed and what entities are being changed, they are being tracked. So thank you so much guys for this video. Bye bye.